What's up, guys? So this is Sushant, and we are gonna cover what are the basic data types in Swift, and after this playlist is done, probably you can start developing your basic iOS applications. So this playlist is specifically designed for the beginners in Swift. So let's just dive into it. I am gonna start my Xcode with a new playground. I'm gonna name this data types in Swift. Okay, let's save this. Let me make this window a little bit bigger and just okay. So what are data types in Swift or in any general language? So data type is the type of data that you're going to store in the variable or any constant. And for example, we have like this is also, let's delete this, let's string equal to some string. So this is a string data type. Okay, so we can have like 12.5, 12.3, or we can have false. So these are all the data types. I mean, to categorize those, probably we'll go up initially with the Boolean values. So Boolean values can have two kinds of values. Consider it as a true and false. So if we want to what you say, write a Boolean type, we start up with for example, I want to check if it is raining. So is it raining? And if I give this false, so this becomes a Boolean value. Okay, and Swift is pretty much smart to detect what kind of data type it is. For example, if you click on the option key and you'll see a question mark here, and if you click on it, you can see its data type. So see, it's bool. Okay, but if you want to explicitly specify the data type of it, you can do like this. So this is a Boolean value. Okay, for example, it sunny, and if you give it as true, so this is also a Boolean type. Okay, so this is Boolean. I like my code to be more organized. Sorry guys for keeping you waiting. Okay, so the second data type that we have is integer. Okay, so in integer, this is a interview question also for basic for beginners like junior developers. What is the range of integers? So for example, the range of integers are, so there is a specific number that you can see. I guess it is 2/147 483, and I believe it is 688 or 648 something. Okay, and 2, just sorry, just copy paste this. So this is the range of the integer that we have in Swift. If you want to define an integer, it has to be in this range. Okay, so to define an integer, we just write some integer equal to 10. So any number without the decimal, let it be positive or negative, this is it is called as it is treated as an integer. So if you want to specifically specify the type of it, you can give 10, or you can give 20. So here you can see its type is integer, and here also it is type is integer. It doesn't matter, like if you give the type data type to it, define it explicitly, or if you don't do it, Swift is pretty much smart, as I told you before, that it's gonna detect what its type is. Okay, so the third type of integer that we have, it's not a data type. Probably you can, it is a data type, but it is sub part of the integer. So you can so there are three basic types for it. The first is the UInt. So this is a sub part of int, and which is called as UInt. So this also is a interview question. It can be asked to you. So what is a UInt? It is basically unsigned. U stand for unsigned integer and int is integer, so it is unsigned integer, and it can only store variables from you can say positive to, like it can only store positive numbers or 0. Okay, so it's and its default, so here I'll specify it can store only positive, or let's name it or 0. Okay, so here how we define a sorry, so its range is I don't know exactly what its range is. It is 42 something 9596 and some numbers, I don't exactly remember. You can check it on Google. Okay, so this is the range, and the way to define a unsigned integer, the sum unint is equal to 10, or I mean, so this is tricky. If you define it as 10, so this will be treated as integer, but now if you do int, so now this will be treated as UInt. You have to specify that this number that you are storing is a unsigned integer. By default, if you store any number within this range, it will be treated as an integer. That is the default state of an integer value. Okay, and if you for example, if you do this, so Swift is pretty much smart. Like, it will tell you that negative integers, as you can see, that it doesn't, negative integers minus 100 overflows when stored into unsigned type UInt. Okay, so as I told you before, it takes only positive or 0, so this is not allowed in unsigned integer. Okay, so the fourth type, it is UInt, not UInt, it is basically int8. So basically it can store both positive and negative numbers, but the limitation that you'll have is it can only store integers from minus 120. So let's write it down. So the fourth type, this is also a subpart of integer. It is called int8. Okay, the range is what I said, minus 127 to 128. Okay, so if you want to define a int8, the way to do that, it is when you like, for example, if I'm gonna define it, so if I'm playing the game, and if it can only go to around till 127, so what I can do is I can just int8 equal to 128, or let's 128. So this range is 128. Okay, sorry, it's overflows. Okay, now this should be fine. Okay, so and what if you do this now? For example, I'll take the same variable, same int8, and if you do it minus let's name it 129. So here, as you can see, Swift throws an error that 1.-129 overflows when stored into int age. So this is kind of like the limitation, as I told you before. It's a -128 to -127 to 120. This is in for beginners in Swift. These questions probably you'll be pretty much asked in all the like few of the most of the interviews. The range of integers, the range of you like unsigned integers, integer 8, it is 8-bit also. This is also a very this is also a very common question asked to the Swift basic like beginner developers. It can store 8 bits of like the size of it is 8 bits. Okay, so let's just delete it.